Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here and welcome back to another random match on WWE 2K17. Now this one has been suggested by Zach Webster and it is going to be Finn Balor taking on Will Ospreay. Now I've done this one at the Progress Arena only because both these guys of course wrestled for Progress quite a lot. Will Ospreay is still wrestling for Progress of course. Finn Balor wrestled there quite a bit before he moved to WWE. And I think it'd be a pretty nice little matchup to have at Progress. And here we go. This is going to be good. Now, we have got the Finn Balor demon attire, so we are going to see a pretty long entrance, that's all I'm going to say. Ooh, that's interesting. That is very interesting. I've just popped up on my phone because I get like notifications when wrestling news comes up. It's just popped up on my phone that apparently WWE are considering. Oh, of course, all this is rumor, but it all comes from decent sources apparently. But WWE are considering changing the NXT format from tapings to live events week on week, which I think would be a cool idea. I prefer to see that because I am one of these people, and I don't like myself for it, but I always do it, but I'm one of these people that always looks at the results of the taping. So I know what's going to happen for the next few weeks at NXT. And that annoys me knowing that as well, because I now know there's certain things that I would think are so cool. If I was watching NXT live and saw something really cool, I'd be like, oh god, I can't believe I get really excited about it. But then when I read about it in the tapings, then watch it, it's like, oh yeah. Yeah, it was a cool debut. Oh, great. Although I must admit, the Roderick Strong's debut in NXT a couple of months back, that was ruined by the actual network for me. Because I was binge watching NXT because I'd missed about 2 months worth of footage. And I was watching an episode and it said next week Austin Aries is going to bring in his tag team partner. So I finished watching that episode, went to the next episode. And the synopsis of the episode was Austin Aries and Roderick Strong take on so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm sat there thinking, what a waste. Why would you tell people that? It was supposed to be a surprise in that episode. That's like waking up the next morning after a pay-per-view, going in there and saying, oh, time to watch so-and-so retain their championship against so-and-so. And you sat there thinking, well, that's the main event we're in, isn't it? So it was a little bit annoying, that was, but there you go. So I try not to talk about NXT a lot on these videos because I can't remember how far we are in real life compared to what I read in the tapings. Like, I know there's a big debut in the tapings that have happened recently, but I don't know if it's actually been on TV as yet. I say a big debut. It's a big debut for me, who's a fan of British wrestling, but for a lot of American guys, you probably won't. You might know who it is if you're a big supporter of indie wrestling, but the guy in question has only really been around the UK scene, so it's difficult to say really. So Finn Balor making his triumphant return to Progress Wrestling. See, WWE have been a bit interesting recently with they're starting to work a bit more with indie companies. Of course, they're working pretty closely with Evolve and certain people like nobody's wrestled. Oh no, there is, isn't there? Because wasn't Johnny Gargano the first WWE contracted wrestler to wrestle an Evolve show? I mean, when I say contract, I mean full-time contract, not someone who's working for them. But obviously now there's quite a few. And I think it's a good idea, especially some of the guys that are signed for NXT that are not quite on NXT yet. There'll be a few that Evolve might want to use. But, of course, of recent, Mick Foley was booked to go to an IWC show. Nope, ICW. I always get Internet Wrestling Community and Insane Championship Wrestling mixed up. Yeah, an ICW show. And they had to pull Mick Foley, so they sent Finn Balor in his place, which is a massive, massive thing for ICW. Of course, Finn Balor was currently out injured. I shan't imagine they would do that if Finn Balor was not injured. But obviously it's a massive thing for them. And I think Finn Balor actually interfered in the main event of that show as well. So it's so cool to see someone, a former Universal Champion who never lost his belt, he had to give it up due to injury, interfering in a match at ICW while he's still under contract with WWE. That's literally unheard of. So maybe we're starting to come to a new era of wrestling now where WWE are starting to work with smaller companies, and I think it would be a good idea, especially if you have the whole idea of maybe loaning guy. I know it seems a bit strange, but if WWE is not going to use somebody, why not loan them to another company for 6 months and let the other company give them the rest of them they want? As for example, Ring of Honor, WWE, and I don't know what the relationship is between WWE and Ring of Honor. It seems to be okay, but of course Ring of Honor must be annoyed with WWE stealing a lot of their stars. But at the same time, Ring of Honor really make the money out of it, because as soon as somebody makes their way into the main roster, like for example a couple of years ago when Seth Rollins made his way into the main roster, straight away Ring of Honor released the Best of Tyler Black DVD series, and they must have made a huge amount of money from that. So I think it works both ways for Ring of Honor. So maybe there could be the odd guy that Ring of Honor might say, look, can we borrow this guy for 3 months at this rate? And WWE might say, yeah, it'd be good for him to get the exposure and come back with more confidence. It's a possible one. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's an interesting concept. I'd love to see it happen. As Will Ospreay showing some agility there with that head scissors. Yeah, I don't know about that. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Do you think it's something WWE could do? Because there has also been rumours recently, hasn't there, with WWE adding certain indie companies onto the network, and I'm guessing that would be on some sort of pay-per-play situation for the companies involved. So should, for example, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, who are one of the companies that refused this new streaming service, which I thought was interesting, this what's it called, Flow Stream or Flow something or other, this new streaming service that it's not rivaling the network as such because it's not on as high level, but they've got companies like, but saying that, Evolve would be on there, wouldn't it? Really, you'd think, but there you go. But yeah, there's WWE are considering apparently running some indie companies on the network, and obviously that would help give the indie companies more exposure, and it would give them some more money, I suppose, as well, which is a good thing. And it's I don't know what Vince's idea is in that, because of course when Vince took over the WWF back in the late 80s, he demolished all of his competition, but I don't think there is competition for WWE now. And of course, the better these companies like Progress and PWG, Ring of Honor are, the better the talent that's going to be created from them for WWE to pick up in the future. But that's enough of me talking crap anyway. Let's get back onto the actual match in hand, which again was suggested by Zach Webster. So again, if anyone does have any suggestions you would like to see for random matches, then please do drop them down in the comment section below. They all go into a big hat, and if yours gets pulled out, you will get a shout out in the process, as long as I'm not too busy talking crap for the majority of the match. I would love to see this match in real life now, and there's a possibility it could happen in the future. You never know if Will Ospreay gets the call to join WWE. I know, by all accounts, WWE were gutted when he signed for New Japan, because he was going to be one of the main men in their Cruiserweight Classic. You need to get him back in the ring, mate. Getting close to a count out. Go on, Finn, get him back in the ring. Don't want to lose this by count. There we go, back in the ring. I'd be gutted to get 8.5 minutes into a match and it end up by double count. It has happened before on random matches. I've uploaded one of them, I think, and the rest I had to re-record. They're a lot more risky this year with the countouts. Last year, when they got to a 5 count, they were back in the ring straight away. Oh, Canadian Destroyer by Will Ospreay, and straight away up onto the top rope. Oh, Red Arrow straight into the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Again, Ospreay up top. 630 senton. Ospreay, where's this coming from? 1, 2. Oh, he's done it. Will Ospreay, my word, what a performance that was. What, just out of nowhere as well. It was pretty even, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Will Ospreay just turned it on there. Wow. Well, what a win that was for Will Ospreay. And it was a very, very good match as well, actually. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed it as well. Of course, if you did, then please help me out by hitting that like button. It does really help me out. And if you are new around here and you'd like to see some more, of course, there is a link to the playlist down in the description. And you can also hit that subscribe button as well. Again, any random match suggestions, then please drop them in the comment section. I'll add them all into the hat. And thank you once again to Zach Webster for this really good suggestion. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you very, very soon for another random match.